So good day, students. Today I am going to do with you a practical lesson on critical appreciation. As you all know that I have already shared a video on steps of critical appreciation, and today we are going to practically apply it to a poem which is included in the course of first year, and the name of the poem is When to the Sessions of Sweet Silent Thought, and the author is William Shakespeare. So let us start with the critical appreciation. So first of all, what do? We write introduction of the poet. So William Shakespeare, the Elizabethan poet and dramatist, is also known as the Bard of Avon. Besides writing tragedies, comedies, and historic plays, he has also composed poems. Some of his popular works are Hamlet, Othello, The Merchant of Venice, and his sonnets. Remember, when I taught you how to write introduction of the poet, I told you that you have to be very brief. So next comes the step introduction and theme of the poem. So it goes, When to the Sessions of Sweet Silent Thought is the 30th sonnet by William Shakespeare, and it was published in 1609. He wrote 154 sonnets in all, dedicating them to two persons, the fair youth and the dark lady. This poem is one of the fair youth sonnets in which he balances the sorrows of his life with the joy of friendship with the fair youth. The next point is mood of the poem. So the mood of the poet, it is a misprint. It should be the mood of the poet. So the poet is in a thoughtful and reflective mood because he thinks over his past sad incidents and he reflects his past life. So we will say that he is in a thoughtful and reflective mood. Now here is a summary of the poem, and in the summary of the poem, you have got to paraphrase or write the meaning in your own words. So, the poet is in a thoughtful and pensive mood. He is silently reflecting on the past sorrows of his life. He calls the memories of the past a judge. As a judge summons a legal call, a convict. Under such a mood, the poet feels sad about many sorrowful incidents of his life. He feels the lack of many things he wanted to achieve, but he could not. Consequently, he feels sad and freshly cries for the past incidents. He feels that he has wasted his dear time twice. Once, by putting his time and energy in the things he could not get, and secondly, once again, by crying on those past memories. So to continue with the summary, under such circumstances he weeps heavily, though usually he is not in a habit of weeping. The poet expresses his sorrow for his precious friends who have died. Then can I drown an eye unused to flow for precious friends hid in death's dateless night. Now notice that here I have inserted one quotation from the text, and as I told you that you have to do this 2 or 3 times. He also remembers his lost lady love, whom he has not remembered since a long period of time. He sadly feels the loss of many sides of his life which have vanished forever. For example, his childhood friends, his lady love, etc. He remembers all the sad happenings of his life one by one and moans over those things on which he has already cried. He offers his tears as if he is paying due taxes of sorrow. In the final couplet, he expresses a sense of satisfaction that although he has faced innumerable sorrows and losses in his past life, still, when he thinks about his friend, the fair youth, he feels relieved and satisfied that all the losses of his life are restored. But if the while I think of thee, dear friend, all losses are restored and sorrows end, he feels compensated and for all the sorrows of his life. Now we will write the type of the poem. The poem Went to the Sessions of Sweet Silent Thought is an Elizabethan sonnet divided into 4 parts, 3 quatrains of 4 lines each, and a couplet of 2 lines. The rhyme scheme of this poem goes A B A B, C D C D, E F E F, and G G. The words like thought and sought, they rhyme with each other. Words like flow and woe, they also rhyme with each other. Now comes the most important part of the critical appreciation, that is literary beauties. Now literary beauties comprises of the figures of speech and the language. So here in this poem he has made use of the following literary features or figures of speech which beautify the overall effect of the poem. First of all, he has used hyperbole. Then can I drown an eye? This is an exaggeration to express the heavy grief of the poet. Then he has also used metaphor. A lot of metaphors he has used. First is death's dateless night. So here death is compared with a dateless night which is never changed into day. So it means that his friends who are hidden in the night of death, they can't be found out because they are under the darkness of night which never changes itself into day. Then another metaphor can be found in this poem, that is sad account. In the expression sad account, the poet compares the number of sad incidents of his life with an account book. He says that he opens the pages of this sad account and one by one he remembers all his sorrows. Again there is a metaphor, pay as if not paid before. Here the poet Shakespeare, he compares his tears with the due payment which is written in the sad account. Now here one more thing is to be noticed, that this sad account is very paradoxical. Generally what happens that when we pay an account, it is closed. Its dues are closed. But this due of tears is never closed. The more he pays the taxes, the more it is written in the sad account. Then comes the imagery. There is an image of late friends hidden in darkness of death. We can almost imagine that there is darkness all around and all his precious friends are hidden in that darkness. Then there is an example. See, there are so many literary beauties in this poem and it depends on the reader how much literary beauties he can find out. Then comes alliteration. Now, alliteration is the repetition of similar consonant sounds. So, the beautiful examples of alliteration in this poem are as follows. Sessions of sweet silent thought. Now, notice that in this expression, the sound of S, sir, is being repeated. Then, another examples are grieve at grievances. Here, the sound D, grieve, G. Then, woe's new wail, W sound. Death's dateless sound, D. Paradox is also there in this poem. The paradox is that the sad account, as I told you, of sorrow and tears is paradoxical. Why? Because its payment is never cleared. It is always shown due account book. Now comes the diction. Diction, as I told you, is the type of words or terminology used by the poet. So in this poem, the poet has made use of the following diction. First of all, he has used legal terminology. Legal terminology means he has used such words which are used in the language of the court. So the expressions like summon, expense, grievance, session, paid, restored. Now these words are generally used in the language of the court. Then he has also used words related to sorrow, and those words are lack, woes, wail, death, moan and sad. Now he has used he has made use of old or archaic language. So, archaic language, thee, thou, goeth, showeth. So, he has used this word thee. So, that was diction. Now we come to the point comparison and contrast. So, there is a very fine example of contrast within the poem. While reading the three stanzas, we feel that the poem is a sad one. We feel that he is relating to his past sad incidents. But as soon as we read the final couplet, we come to know that it is not a sad poem, but it is about the balance and restoration of all the losses by his friendship with the fair youth. In the end, he says that though I have a lot of complaints against my life, but this one thing can balance all those complaints. And what is that one thing? His friendship with the fair youth. So he thinks that life has compensated with him. Now, critics' point of view. As I told you that it is very important for us to insert some critics' point of view with his name. So here I have put William Wordsworth's critical remark on the general writings of sonnet by William Shakespeare. So according to William Wordsworth, he was the major romantic poet. The sonnets by William Shakespeare are a key with which he unlocked his heart. Now you see, William Wordsworth has said these words for William Shakespeare. He said that sonnets are the key. He did not say that the dramas are the key. No, he said that it is the sonnets with which we can open the heart of Shakespeare. Heart means feelings. We come to know about the soft feelings of Shakespeare towards his friend, the fair youth, and the dark lady only through the sonnet. So that is why he called those sonnets a key. So this is very, very important that William Wordsworth said this about him. Then my own point of view means you have to write your own point of view while dealing with this point. So you can write anything which you felt about the poem, and these are some of the examples. The poem Went to the Sessions is a beautiful expression of the poet's true feelings about his friend, the fair youth. The language, imagery, diction, figures of speech employed by the poet are apt and appealing. The way he praises the worth of his friend by enumerating the sorrows of his life is very unique and beautiful. Truly, it is one of the most popular sonnets by William Shakespeare. So this was all about critical appreciation. I have given you, previously I have given you the points on which to develop your critical appreciation, and today's class was concerned about the practical application of these points on a poem. So we did this practical application on one of William Shakespeare's poem, Went to the Sessions of Sweet Silent Thought. So before doing this critical appreciation, before listening to this lecture of critical appreciation, I will suggest you to watch my video when I taught you this poem, Went to the Session. So this will enhance your understanding of the poem better. So I hope you understood how to write a critical appreciation of a poem. Thank you.